class. Welcome back to CSC 151. You've probably been wondering what it is that I've been doing and why I've been purposely being so, making sure that I always have, nice space and all this, like I label these things. Why is it I'm doing all this stuff? Why am I making things different colors? Why am I making the colors and shapes consistent as I do these things? Well, there's a reason. And it goes into the fact of good flowchart design. Because we're going to make flowcharts here. And flowcharts can get very confusing. Like, here is one. Let me just click that off. Here's one I made for Uno. Now, Uno is a very simple game, but if we look at it, there's a lot of stuff going on here. We draw 5 cards, we reveal the first card from the pile, and then there's a player's turn. Did the previous player use a skip? If yes, it's still the next player's turn. But if no, is it a top? Did they draw a draw 2? Well, then do you have a draw 2 card to put on top of it? No. Well, then you need to draw cards equal to the current counter. If yes, we place the card, we add to the counter. Because these cards keep stacking. It can be draw 2, then draw 4, then draw 8, draw 17. Well, we can't do 17, but draw cards are in even numbers, but you get the point. And this is all into consideration that we have to take care of before we even use a card ourselves. Did you use a matching card color? If yes, put it down. Did you use a matching number? If yes, put it down. Did you use a wild card? If yes, select a new color, put it down. Did you use a reverse card? If yes, rotate it and then put the card down. Did you use a draw 2 card? Yes, then add to the card counter, put it down. If no, so you did not get skipped. You did not have any cards you had to draw from a draw 2. And you did not have any possible mat card to use, draw a card, go back up to next player. But if after all of this, you were able to put a card down, do you have 1 card remaining? If no, follow the line all the way back up here, it's the next person's turn. But if yes, you say Uno. Did you say Uno first? If yes, you win the game. But if no, well, draw 4 cards. And next person's turn. You see how complicated a game like Uno gets when you try to draw it out step by step? It takes a lot of skill to be able to take a complex thing like that and break it down into something that's readable. That's why every single yes-no path is labeled. That's why every single time I ask a question, the question is a consistent shape and color. Anytime the person does something like drawing a card or placing a card, you will have, that's something that the player does. So I made it a simple shape, and it's the same shape, the same color every time. Every time something that happens via the computer, something outside of the player's control, I switched it to a blue rectangle. And I made the start a green circle, I made the end a red thing over there, and I also gave everyone a legend to make sure they knew what it was. Because in theory, with any sort of computer game, there's really kind of 2 things that happen. There's the output and the input. The input is going from us into the computer. The output is from the computer going out to us. So I had to separate those 2 sort of things, because I'm assuming this is a computer game of some sort, since this is a computer language class. My if statements, my conditional branches and logic, my, loops, I've got multiple loops all through this. How many different things go back into next player turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things here go back into next player's turn eventually. And my start point, my end point, so that I can go from top to bottom, and I have a straight path going down from beginning to end. This is all readable. A lot of people try to use Uno when I had this in class, and they come up with this, they realize very, very quickly that stuff like Uno is very, very difficult to comprehend. So, word of advice, if you're going to make a flowchart for this class, don't pick Uno. We don't talk about Uno, no. We don't talk about Uno. Yeah, that's going to date this video, I know that immediately, but that's okay. So there's some generalized rule of thumb when it comes to design for these sorts of things. Why is everything a similar shape and color? Well, because people are colorblind. And not only that, types of color blindness. People are not the same type of colorblind. That's normal vision, and then that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, that. You can see the same image different ways depending on what type of color blindness you have. There's, prototopia, deuterodenopia, tritanopia. There's many different types. And of course, there's pure monochrome color blindness as well. And you've got generally 10% of the population that have some type of color blindness. My brother is one of them. We realized it when he brought down a green Dr. Martin Luther King for first grade coloring class. And we kind of asked him, why was your Dr. Martin Luther King green? Well, because in his brain, the green crayon and the brown crayon looked exactly the same. So we had a Franken King. But that was basically that bit right there. The other thing is, you notice I'm trying my best for consistency. I try to keep things like-minded things alike. I did try my best to always have no go down, but I kind of had to flip it to make, the end game be there. So, but even then, for this line right here, I've got yes going down, 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 and my no's are always going across. So I try my best to be consistent. I try to be readable. Why do I say that? Bad flowchart. Let's Google that. Let's okay, load this. Oh, there we go. Open image in new tab. There we go. Tell me, can you read or understand any of this that you see right here? Where does this start? Where does this end? Why are some of these labeled red? Why are some of these labeled green? Why are some of these in this black or dark blue color? Why is every single item here blue? What signifies the difference between a rounded corner and a right angle corner? Why is PAY in this box over here on the side? Why does it look like some of these arrows go left and some of them go right, and some of them appear to go both ways, left and right? Why do some of these arrows go over the top of the words? Why are some of these arrows clustered together so much? It doesn't, I can't tell which arrow is supposed to go to which at some of these things. This is, in general, just very difficult to read and understand. There's not even a little legend in the corner or something to tell me what it is I'm looking at. I see the words lower crime rates over here. I see early childhood mortality rate. I see decreased alcohol and drug use, global warming. Am I looking at I see basic grant income. What am I looking at? Lack of quality teachers, droughts, famines, floods. Am I looking at something involving education? Am I looking at something about city taxes and finance? Am I looking at something about weather? What exactly am I looking at here? I see lower prevalence of HIV and AIDS and good nutrition. Am I looking at basic health? Well, if so, what is all this connections and how? How does this work? This right here is complete gibberish that I'm looking at. We don't want something that looks like this. We want something that, best case scenario, the lines do not overlap. Everything is consistent. Every path is labeled. You can take a complex situation and break it down in such a way where nothing intersects, nothing overlaps. We don't have any sort of worry about that, which, by the way, overlapping is very, very bad if you ever look at a microchip. Microchip, or, microchip. I'll look at a microchip. Helps when I can spell microchip correctly. If you ever look at the circuits on a chip, you'll notice none of them actually overlap. Why? Because they're electrical current. And electrical currents, if they were to overlap, like let's just say we had a line here, and a line went like that, and then another line went like that, and another line went like that, they can wind up all going to separate places. The minute you have anything that crosses over, guess what? Now all four of these lines, now that guy, whatever is the path of least resistance, now all four of those will go to 1. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this guy right here is the path of least resistance, that big circle right there. So now, all three of these guys are getting nothing, and this guy is getting everything. So that's why when you look at a microchip or any sort of computer component, you'll notice that they make these nice little bizarre roundabouts and circuits, and they have all these lines that go in all different directions, but they never cross over one another. They go out of their way to find some sort of path to get from point A to point B without ever intersecting something. So, and that's basically what I did here. It may be a long path, but those paths never intersect or go over each other. Now, obviously, I combined all 6 of the lines right here into one arrow just to get to next turn, because they all wind up going in the same place. You'll also notice that the arrows go one way. I don't have this no path going that way by mistake, because, you know, how would that happen? Draw a card, did you use a draw 2 card? No, draw a card. Like, how is this happening? It's making some sort of endless loop that just shouldn't exist. So, the arrows all go one way, from beginning to end, or beginning to wherever it is they wind up going back to the loop. They will always somehow wind up in the end. And that's what winds up happening. We can follow this through thick and thin, and eventually get to the end. And that's basically how this all winds up working. Now, since we're using a flowchart program here, I'll talk about how to save something like this and export it out. I'll talk about that in the next video, where we actually are going to go step by step and not making this. We're not going to make we're not going to make Uno, but we're going to start step by step and make a flowchart from scratch to simulate the coding that would be required for a video game version of some sort of process, or a computer program of some sort of process. So, follow along in that video, step by step. At the end of that video, you should have a working, functional flowchart. See you all in the next video. You have a fun time.